All right, everybody, welcome back to Room A-108. I'm your host, David. Joining me, as always, my co-host, CJ. And we're back again for another special episode with another special guest, someone who was a standout athlete at Thornwood High School, making us marked as one of the top talents in both football and track and field. His hard work and talent earned him a scholarship at Indiana University, where he became a 4-year starter at defensive back. Room A-108 would like to welcome Leslie Majors.
Appreciate you, big dog. Man, it's a pleasure to be on. Man,
we were just talking when you came up here, man. It's been at least 20 years since we've seen each other, man.
At least 20.
At least 20. So I told him, I'm like, man, we got to get Leslie on, man. And I wish we could have got you on right around the time the draft was going on. There's a lot of questions that would have coincided right there.
Yeah, that'd have been
But how you been, man?
Man, I've been blessed, bro. Just, trying to pass on the information that I was able to gather throughout the range, trying to pass it on to the next generation, trying to help guys, basically fulfill their dream.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, just, me and yours, it's going to be hard to have a professional conversation because
I know, because you my brother.
We go way back. But before we start, man, there's something that I just want to be known. Bias aside, Leslie Majors is the best football player that I've ever shared the field with. Not only as a teammate, as an opponent, anybody, and I'm not just saying that, but seeing you do the things that you did out on that football field, whenever anybody wants to talk about people they put on that pedestal, I'm the first one to jump in like, hey, man, Leslie, he was that dude. So I'm going to touch on why, but I just want you to know that, man, like you are that for me.
I appreciate you, brother.
So this just honest to God truth. But I really just want to start off with saying, like, what kind of got you started in sports? Because I know the sports you play, but I want you to touch on that. What got you started? Like, I know football, track, wrestling, all that. So what kind of got you started? What was your first love? And tell me how that went.
Got some interesting stories, man. So I started off playing football with the Harvey Colts.
Yep.
Right. I was a little young buck. Had no idea nothing about football, bro.
Yeah.
I promise you. I went out there, I could run a little bit, but, I was new to the game, so I ain't going to say I was soft, but we're going to call it new to the game, right? So the contact, the physicality, it was new. Once I adjusted to it, though, and I learned that it's basically the same thing we've been doing before school, just don't let them touch you, I was able to really find my stride, and really, really roll with it. Fell in love with the physicality. It's the only place in the world you can go and let off your emotional steam without no harm, no foul, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And, that was my first love. That's what I was driving off of. I got in the track. Funny story was because I was ditching class. We was at Thornwood, bro. And
so you didn't start track until high school?
I didn't start track till sophomore year.
Oh wow, okay.
Right, so I wasn't the most studious. I learned my lesson after that, but before that, I was going to all the lunches, just trying to feel my way around the new school. I transferred from Thornton, just trying to get a feel for everybody, and my parents found out, and my dean was also the athletic director. Remember?
Who was
Dunlap.
Oh, yeah. I forgot Dunlap was the
he was
No, Legess. Legess was the athletic director, I thought.
Legess was
And Dunlap was the dean.
With the dean.
Right, but he coached baseball.
And he coached baseball.
Yes, sir.
He was
the legend, Coach Dunlap.
Yes, sir. He was heavier to the sports, and we had to sit down about my attendance and everything. And, as any parent would, the first thing is, okay, well, you can't do what you're supposed to do, so I'm going to pull you out of sports.
Yeah.
Coach Dunlap said, no, that's the wrong thing to do. Let's put him in more sports. Maybe he's got too much time on his hands.
Yep.
So,
Good stuff.
I had a small background in wrestling, and they gave me the choice, either wrestle or run track. It's a punishment. I'm going to do the easiest thing, of course. Go to track. Walk out there to the track. I say, what's the easiest thing y'all got? Long jump. Let's go get it.
That's how
it started, bro. Went out there, jumped 40 feet, first meet, Coach Harvey had no idea who I was till then. He came over. You know how you do the little pinch on the side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, you can jump a little bit. Oh, okay.
Hey, we're gonna touch on Coach Harper a little bit too, and track at Thornwood because that's something that's legendary.
For sure.
But yeah, we're gonna get there. But you got. All right, no. So one thing I've always wanted to ask you, I've never even asked you this as a friend, but your freshman year, instead of playing, because you were at Thornton, but instead of playing for Thornton, you decided to play another year for the Colts.
I did.
So what brought you to that decision?
All those guys, man, we put in so many years together that we had to bring something home.
Okay.
You know, it's like, all right, at this point, we're probably never going to all play together again because we're all going to go to different high schools. It's going to be different after this. So we got one last chance to really try to bring something home. That's us, you know. And, you know, a lot of people were criticizing me because, you know, I was called an older blighter, right? So I was 14, but I was only like 110 pounds soaking wet, you know what I mean? So I was able to play with the younger guys, but I was older. Yeah. So, of course, it was cheating. But
He so casually said that, but of course it was cheating. But
I mean, you know. That's all that was really about, man. We really just wanted to bring one home for the home team before we separated and all went about our own journeys. It was something we worked towards when we were young bucks, and we were looking up to the older guys who went up and started Thornton, the Antoine Randall-Wells, the Martell Frazier's. You know what I mean? These guys are the guys we looked up to, and once they went on, we wanted to leave something that was our own, you know. And, you know, I knew I wasn't going to stay at Thornton. I knew that was the plan because Coach Collins did a great job of, you know, talking to my parents and persuading them to bring me to a better opportunity for me.
Okay.
Harvey Colts.
Yeah.
Legendary organization. Still to this day, people talk about the Colts all the time. You talked about Martell Frazier. You mentioned Antoine Randall. Is there anybody else that you played with back in them days that you want to give a shout out to just from the Colts days?
Oh man, I don't even want to disrespect. I'd had a lot of head injuries. I'll forget a whole lot. You know, I don't disrespect, but there's so many great guys. It's so many great guys. You know what I mean? Like guys that went to the NFL, guys that could have went to the NFL. You know, had things just tweaked a little bit in their favor. You know, and like the whole organization, the coaches, Coach Averhart, Coach Stovall, may he rest in peace. You know, we had a lot of great leaders, great men in the community that taught us how to be young men, which was more than about the game, you know. So that's what I appreciate, and I take the most from that organization, and it carried me through now to this day, you know.
So you had touched on Collins actively recruiting you. So I got something I want to touch on that because I'm sure if Collins was there, I'm sure my dad was right there by his side. So my 8th grade year going into freshman year, Collins and my dad sat down and they're like, all right, if we're going to change Thornwood football, we're going to do it from the ground up, meaning we're going to build that freshman team up. So they were made it a point to be active at Dalton Bears games, Harvey Colts, Mustangs. So I remember seeing you play before I even knew you. I remember seeing Jason Jones play. I mean, they were licking their chops at Jason. Everybody wanted Jason. If you remember, did you play against Jason in grade school?
I didn't play against him. You know, me and Jason, I just talked to. I let him know I was on my way up here. He's supposed to be watching the episode.
Shout out to Jason. He's always being active on our page, man, and that's someone I would love maybe to have Jason on one time too. But
you know, he's a state-winning coach.
Really?
I mean, he's been coaching since we were done. He's at Lincoln Way East now.
Okay. He was at Thornwood for a bit coaching.
I was at Thornwood too.
You were at Thornwood too?
I coached at Thornwood for a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Track and football.
All right. But getting back to that is like, so I had seen you all play, and they were really, really hitting the road, like really trying to get these guys to come to Thornwood. And that year, I mean, you weren't on the team freshman year, but we had 100+ people on the freshman team that year. Jason Williams, who went on playing the NFL team.
3rd round pick.
Yep. But the Dallas Cowboys was on that team. You were on. Well, no, you weren't on that team. Butler was on that team. Ended up going D1. So it was just it was huge for the program, and although it didn't turn out that way, you know, I the fact that they were out there recruiting. That's why you brought that up. I'm like, man, that year they were really, really out there trying to get the best athletes in. But you come in sophomore year.
Yeah.
And I can't remember exactly, but how many games did you play on the sophomore team before they pulled you up to varsity pretty quick?
I played 2 games.
Yeah, I was gonna say it wasn't much. They pulled you up to varsity pretty quick, and that team ended up making the playoffs, which ultimately shout out was your brother's team too, Joe.
Yes,
so
sir.
that Thornwood team. So just tell me about that year and that experience being a sophomore on the varsity team.
So that year was kind of weird for me. You know, it was the first time I was able to get on and really try to get to know my peers as brothers. You know, the guys that I'm supposed to go to battle with, the sophomores. And we're practicing together, we're sweating together, we're starting to feel good. And, you know, I played 1 full game on sophomores. And I don't know if you remember the Thornridge game. At halftime, they pulled me out of the sophomores
So you can play on the varsity.
so I could play on varsity. And that's when I came up there. I scored that first touchdown on there. And that was pretty much the last time I was able to play on sophomores.
Yep.
It was frustrating a little bit because I did want to play, you know. But as a young guy behind some really good guys, you know, I still had to sit and learn the varsity game. You know, I was playing Pop Warner before, so I haven't even experienced high school football, let alone varsity. So they wanted, you know, Andre Collins and the coaching staff did a great job of easing me into it, you know. But, you know, young buck like me, I was ready to go.
Yeah.
1.5 games is crazy.
That's insane.
I got called up to varsity after my sophomore baseball season ended.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
definitely not after 2 games. So, I could just remember, you know, thinking back how I felt, you know, having that conversation. Coach Dunlop, shout out to Coach Dunlop, pulled me up to varsity after our sophomore year ended. But what was the kind of feeling for you? You know, being, you know, getting that tap on the shoulder, like, hey, yeah, you done down here, you going up. How did that feel?
Man, it was exciting. It was like, you know, this is what we were working for. You know, I knew that the Harvey Colts thing would be a public type of thing, but the people who were inside the game understood what was going on. And freshman football, it's more about teaching young guys the game who, you know, never really played. If the guy can play or has played before and he's young, he's gonna go up. He's gonna play sophomores. He's gonna go up. So I had the experience. I just had to prove that I can do those type of things at the next level, which will be high school. The physicality was completely different, and that was what they were more concerned with. Will my body be able to hold up at 100 and something pounds? You know what I mean? Like our starting running back, Ken West, you know, shout out to him, 6'1", 230, you know, and, you know, he's a freight train, and these are guys that of his caliber that we're going to be playing against.
And even Daryl, who was the quarterback, he was big.
Daryl Reddick, our quarterback / free safety, like we had guys. We had guys. Aaron Mitchell.
I'm gonna get into that too.
Me and Aaron Mitchell played at Indiana together.
Yep.
So yeah, we had guys. We had guys.
I remember coming to watch them games back, you know, 7th, 8th grade. He said Ken West, and man, who ran? It was Linnell Turner that ran behind Ken West.
Turner. GOAT.
I remember those are just the 2 names that, as a kid, you know, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, coming to watch my brother play. It was like, man, I remember them dudes. I was dogs, bro.
Yeah, that team was something else, man. That team was really something else. Yeah. So I want to touch on too. So fast forward a little bit. Now we're going into senior year. We had a really underwhelming junior year. We had so much talent, and it just didn't translate to the field. Yeah. And I'm gonna go ahead and say it, but I don't know if you remember the very last game of the season, our junior year. Coach Collins always had a speech with the seniors, and they leave, and he talks to the rest of the team. Do you remember the speech he gave us?
I don't.
Okay, all right. So it's messed up, but it pumped us all up because he. I'm gonna go ahead and curse, but I'm just saying he came out to us. He was like,
"Blurt this out.
This bullshit isn't happening next year." As soon as they leave, the first thing he comes to the rest of the team, he was like, "This is not happening next year," because he knew that freshman team that he recruited is now going to be senior, and we had a large. I mean, we had at least going into that year, we had almost 30 seniors on that team, and we changed it up. So going into that year, we decided to have camp. You know, remember the Titans was fresh at that time.
Yeah.
So we ended up going to camp in Marshall.
Oh,
So
my
we spent
God.
a week in the middle of the summer, away from everybody, in barracks, 3-a-day practices,
No clouds.
no clouds for a week. The cafeteria food actually was pretty good. Actually,
It was
if I
actually
remember,
decent,
I remember
man. It
pretty
was
good.
decent.
But
Or we were starved and going crazy.
yeah. But I bring that up because the camaraderie we molded during that time. So anybody that's from Thornwood High School, I don't know if you even know this, but we formed a group called KO. So everybody thought it was a gang, but it really wasn't a gang. It was really just a
Brotherhood.
It was a brotherhood of guys that went through the trenches together. Like we shared the blood on the field, and it's infamous now. You know, even today, I'm surprised. I'm mad we didn't do the shake when we came in.
Man, they still doing it? That's
Still
wow.
doing
That's
it.
20, how many years later?
But I bring that up because there was so much promise going into that senior year. I know I'm talking a lot, but there's a
No,
reason
you
why
good. No, you
I'm
good.
bringing it up. So, first game of the year, we blow out Thornridge. It was had to been like 50-6, something like that.
And we started out slow, remember?
Yeah, and it was bad. And actually, Lawrence, rest in peace, he got kicked out like the second game of the second play of the game
Second play.
for he was a talker and he went too far.
A little
Went
too
far
far.
and got kicked out. But second game, we go against Thornton, who's ranked in state.
Remember,
Yeah.
we were ranked too.
But that's what I'm gonna get to that. So at that time, we were just on the cusp, maybe like 25, but we ended up losing that game in a nail biter. Third game of the season, we go against Lockport, who is the defending state champions. And do you remember the score of that game?
I don't remember. I knew it was close
It
because
was
they barely
13
beat
to
us.
6 against the defending state champions. And I bring this up
True
because
take.
Lockport had a heavily recruited all-state wide receiver. How many catches did he have that game?
None.
0.
6'5", 2 something. His name was Drake something. I remember.
And I remember Collins telling you, he's like, wherever he goes, you go. And that was when I knew, like, Leslie was different. So I bring that up because, like, that senior year is really when you got your name out there. Not only did he didn't give up a pass all season. We played 9 games. He didn't give up one pass to anybody the whole year. So
That's crazy. That's crazy. You know that.
yeah, man. I told you, like, you're different from me, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're a different level of athlete from me, man. So, just tell me what it was like that year for you. And I really want you to touch on your versatility that we needed you for that year.
Man, that year was crazy. So that summer, I put on 30 pounds of muscle, and I dropped my 40 from a 4.45 to a 4.25.
Yep.
And I went on the recruiting trails,
Yep.
and I was lighting it up. Every college I went to, I was leaving out of there with an offer. So I ended up going to Indiana's camp,
Yep.
right? We had a coach there called Coach Mack. His name was Coach Mack McMillan. He taught me basically how to press man, no help. And what he taught me from that one day is what I used throughout the entire senior year. And nobody could catch the ball on me.
It was different, man.
It was different, but I didn't consider myself a defensive player. I played running back and receiver my entire life. Like, that's all I knew. So the change up was different, you know. I kind of went through a couple little things mentally on trying to restructure on my mentality of the game and how I should approach it. Now I'm at the highest level trying to learn a brand new position, you know. But in high school, those couple little things he taught me, yeah, man, it worked. He was good. And I actually committed to that school for him because I thought he'd take me to the promised land.
How did those recruiting visits go, and how did it change at all? You know, like your approach to the rest of the senior season. Like, that's got to be, you know, dope for you. A senior in high school going on these visits and having, you know, big time colleges, want you a part of their program. So when you went back to Thornwood for your senior season, how did it change your outlook at all or your mindset on playing?
It was humbling, exciting. You go to a college, they fly you and your parents out, siblings, whoever, they put your parents up in the nicest hotel they can find. They feed everybody steak and lobsters, and they telling about all of the programs, and then later they'll send you with one of the guys, and he's your host. They give him some money to take care of you, and as a recruit at a college, even if they don't even know you at all, they just know you're a recruit, and they wanted you to come there.
So they took care of you.
They took care of me. Every college I went to,
that's
Northern, TCU, IU, Kansas, they took care of the kid. I'm not gonna lie.
Before we go on, because I want to talk about college, but before we go on, there's two things I want to mention about high school before we move on. So the first is, so I said about Leslie not giving up a pass his senior season at all. So I say that because he was like Travis Hunter before Travis Hunter. So Leslie, did you leave the field?
No.
Because not only he was at one point, he was a starting running back / receiver because we ran a
wing.
flex slot
It's like a slot wing type of
three
deal.
running back system. But yeah, they're wings, and depending on who got hurt that week, that depended on what Leslie had to play quarterback that year. He was our punter.
I did punt a couple times.
He was our punter. So he didn't leave the field for special teams anything, and still was able to not give up a pass. So that's why I'm a brag on you, man. That's what I'm saying. Anybody that comes here from Thornwood, we're gonna brag on them because we want everybody to know that we're just not another high school. This Thornwood is special.
For sure.
But that senior season ended up not going the way we thought it would. Like I said, we lost to Lockport, and we were ranked. I think we were ranked number 11 in state.
We were still ranked after 2 losses. We were 0-2 before we went to Thornton. We were still ranked.
1 and 2 because we beat Thornton.
1 and 2. You're right.
2, yeah.
1 and 2 still ranked going to Thornton.
Yep.
Top game.
Yep. And it's funny. Randall Penn, that's my brother for life too. We had a conversation, and I actually told him you were coming on, and I remember the moment the season went downhill. So we played Lincoln Way East that next week, and if you remember, you scored on the very first play. I think 28 fly. Is that the name of the play?
You know it.
28 fly first play, and Lincoln Way was ranked too. Lincoln Way East.
They was ranked top 2.
And it was a thunderstorm, so we all had to be evacuated to the field house. And when we came back, no shade to Andre Butler, man. I love you, Dre. But it was just a mental error. It was a kickoff, and he was on kick return. Kicked it to Dre. And he treated it like it was a punt. So he ran away from the ball on a kick return, thinking that it's going to get downed. And they picked it up and scooped and scored. And just after that, the season was never the same. I mean, injuries contributed, but
For sure.
we ended up not winning another game. We were 1-8. It was hurtful being as close as we were, but being able to watch you that year was the highlight as the team, So just tell me what it was like for you that year, that whole year. Like, what did it feel like? You were the backbone. Like, we were only as successful, not wins wise, but just like how competitive we were is how you did. So how did that feel that year?
Man, I was actually disappointed, man, that I didn't do more for us.
That's crazy.
Because I could have for sure. I separated my shoulder against that Lincoln Way game, which stifled the way I can play, especially on offense. Then I don't know if you remember when we played HF. Right, and they had that big time player Xavier Fullington, right, and trying not to let him hit my shoulder, he rolled up on my ankle, which put me out.
And I think Jason got hurt that game too.
And because I was out, we gave the ball lean more on our quarterback, which then Jason broke his collarbone, and so that was at that point we were all battling injury. Dre, remember Thornton game, he towards a ligament in his thumb.
Yep.
To this day, it's still not the same.
Steve got hurt at Marshall, and he was our best lineman that year.
Best lineman.
He was the captain, so the line was never the same. Man, you could tell we reminiscing down. Don't remember the lane, but
I mean, because we were really that senior year. You were right on point. We should have won conference.
Yeah.
Like, we had the talent, we had all the guys. Like, I don't know, bro. Like, injuries and just mishaps. It's like
life happened. It
just
sucked.
I'm just sitting back like a fan back in the. Just hearing the stories, man. That's dope.
Well, I play with a lot of different guys from on a lot of different levels, and I'm gonna wholeheartedly, full confidently say that 80% of the guys on that Thornwood team could have went anywhere and played D1. All they needed was the opportunity.
Can I run through, and you throw some names out there too that had D1 talent?
Darrell Davis.
Anthony
Cooper.
Anthony Cooper. Rest in peace, Julius Spearman.
Julius Smith. He what?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So but if there was ever a person that had just had God-given talent, like Julius didn't care, right? But when he gave effort, literally nobody in the world that can block him. It was John DeVries. He's another one. DeVries. Jason Jones. Randall.
If Jason Jones played quarterback in today's game where they allow 5'10" quarterbacks to play quarterback,
yeah,
Jason was an NFL quarterback.
Yeah. David Coleman. Freshman. They called him freshman because he was on varsity as a freshman. Your brother knows him.
I know.
You know. Yeah, Coleman. Mm-hmm. Yep. Tatum. Big Tatum.
Like, it was guys. We had plenty. Like,
Salisbury.
Tatum Salisbury.
Yep.
So we all know Tim Jameson, right? Played in NFL. I think he had one tackle against Tatum. Tatum sent that out as his tape to colleges to get recruited. NFL caliber player. Tatum locked him up, so we had the talent.
Yeah, Tim Jameson played in the NFL for quite a while, couple seasons.
Yeah.
Couple seasons under his belt.
David Galvin, Nah.
He just throw that in there.
Hey, 44 out there was a force, man. They had the
Yeah, no, it's just. We know what it was. I didn't want to give up football, so I took up kicking just because I love football so much.
The love.
If I could have played, I would have played, but it is what it is. It's not about. But one thing I promised Randall I would talk about. It's in Thornwood lore, especially amongst us, senior year. Joliet, end of the season.
Oh boy.
What is your perspective of the notorious team fight between Thornwood and Joliet your senior year?
We was gonna win something.
We gonna
win something.
I'm leaving here with something.
Man,
We're leaving with something. It was a frustrating long year. Right? We were better than a lot of teams we lost to, and losing to a team of, no shade to them, but we were gonna win something that day.
So what?
Hey, that's hilarious. Bro. That was our, something, bro.
That was our mentality, though. Honestly,
can't leave empty-handed.
We used to. It was weird. We used to go to other teams' games just because we could to start beef or whatever. It was wild, man. We just had that mentality. It was like, we had the winning mentality and the mentality that we were just better than everybody. It just didn't show.
It just didn't correlate. And it really it's mostly because of injuries, bro. For real.
Yeah,
like, had we not lost. We're not a huge team, right? We're not one of those state winning all the time. But to get a team like we had, we needed every single guy. We needed everybody, and we just, guys got hurt. It's part of the game.
When you look, I kind of asked Jeremy Allison. Shout out to Jeremy. I asked him kind of a form of this question, but how disappointing is it for you when you look back? Because you mentioned. You feel personally like a good 80% of the guys that you played with could have went somewhere and played.
For sure.
How disappointing is it for you to look back and know that those guys didn't get those opportunities?
I don't look back as in disappointment. I look forward as in now I know. So I'm coaching now. And so all these guys that were looked over for whatever reason or another, I'm making sure I pay attention to give guys a legit opportunity. I've helped 13 guys go to college unattached from any program, just, mentoring, guiding. My youngest guy, Tim Springs' son, Tim Springs Jr.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. He's at
legend wrestler right there.
Yeah. He's playing ball, college ball now. We got him into college a couple years ago. But I don't feel bad for the guys that didn't make it. I use that as fuel to help the guys that can. Like if I'm outside and I'm working out with my kid, I'm working out with myself, and I see a guy out there alone, and I see he's working. Oh, he needs the blueprint. I'm trying to give those guys what I wish I had. The guys that were big during my time were still playing, so they didn't have the opportunity to come back and really give the hands-on details about how to make it. And so with me having the ability to see what it's like on that side, I want to bring that information back to those guys that want it. So it's fuel for now, even to this day.
It's good stuff, man. So we transition from high school, and we go on to your college career. Mm-hmm. You said you ultimately go to Indiana, Big Ten team. You join our former teammate Aaron Mitchell. Mm-hmm. So tell me what that was like for you, man. Tell me your freshman year getting on the campus. Tell me your experiences.
The PG-13? No, I'm kidding. But it was awesome, man. Like I knew a guy already, and this guy was one of my closest guys. We were roommates. He really showed me the ropes, showed me what college football was about before I got there, so I didn't make as many of the small mistakes, which allowed me to start as a true freshman. Got into camp. They recruited me to start as a freshman, so that was my goal and my intent. Off-season training and everything. Get to camp. Go against the guy, John Panozzo. Shout out. He was our fullback at the time, but eventually converted to our starting middle linebacker and signed a contract with the Indianapolis Colts.
Okay.
So my freshman year, I was doing hitting drills, and I'm trying to prove myself against the wrong one. He gave me a concussion. I sat down. He put me down.
Okay.
Yeah, and then my boy Tracy Porter, shout out. He stepped up and balled through camp. Tracy was a dog, bro. He was a dog. There's a reason he won a Super Bowl and picked off Peyton Manning and picked off Brett Favre. Like I said, as a competitor, it's like, I should be out there too. But after breaking 2 records as a true freshman our first game, his first pick was 96 yards. Second pick, 92 yards. It's like, oh, no, we got the right guy in. I'll wait my turn.
Any part of you any part of you wish you were born a little bit later with all of the NIL and everything going on right now? Wish you could have dipped your toe in that money pool? Man,
I wish I was a little bit taller. Man, I had scouts, I graded out in the second round. A lot of people don't know. My film graded in the second round. But I was 5'9"3/4 and 168 pounds. And the year I came out, we had 6'1", 6'2" guys. They wanted big guys at that point. So I was kind of on the short end of the stick. But yeah, man, if I was taller, I'd have made it back then. I would rather play that game than the game of today. I'm not going to lie to you. I was a physical guy. I like to hit. My teammates nicknamed me Tooth Chipper. I was... Yeah, I mean, my senior year, I had a reputation. I was, they said I was one of the hardest hitters on the team, not pound for pound, but you run a 4.2 and throw that in anything.
I was gonna say, with that speed, you running a missile.
Yeah, and I didn't, I used my 24-foot long jump to dive into him a little bit to give it. I brought it.
So, to this day, I had to go back and look actually before we came on the podcast, but it's no secret anybody who's watched that I'm a Michigan fan. So unfortunately, during that time, they didn't have the packages where you can get all the football games. Mm-hmm. So I was only able to really watch Indiana games when they played primetime or they played like Notre Dame,
for sure.
Michigan. Well, y'all didn't even play Notre Dame like that, did you?
Nah, we didn't play Notre Dame.
Yeah, no. So like Michigan, Ohio State, those are the only time I got to see you. So I don't remember if it was your freshman or sophomore year. I think you even mentioned this, but I always said, I was like, man, I want Michigan to win, but I want my boy to look good. So that was my goal, and you did. So this is back with the flip phone mobile days.
Yeah.
Leslie got an interception in the end zone against Michigan. And, I didn't get it live, so I hurried to grab my phone and I recorded it. And to this day, it's a grainy replay of Leslie getting an interception against Michigan that's still posted on my YouTube page to this day. And it's just, man, like, so I kept tabs on you after we left. You know, I mean, whenever you came back in town, we would link up. But I was just always proud of you. I still am. But also, I want to touch on, I remember your freshman year. It was, I don't remember what team you were playing, but it's when Aaron was playing too. Y'all made a goal line stop. Aaron made the tackle, but then after that, they had a cutaway to you and Aaron celebrating in camera together. And to see two Thornwood graduates on national television celebrating and hyping each other up, man, I'm single tear, bro. I was just like, man, this is insane to see you all. But how was it like playing with Aaron? He was only there for like a year or two, though, right?
He was there 3 years.
3 years. But, I mean, you only got to play with him 2 years.
I got to play with him, too. Yeah, because he was a year older. He red-shirted, so we were both freshmen at the same time. Okay. I still got the article when we first played together for the first time against Purdue.
Okay.
Wild story. I don't know if I can tell that on here or not, but it was wild.
But what was that like playing with him, though?
It was crazy, bro. Like, it's like...
Again, playing with him. I'm saying
again, right? Yeah. And so now it's like you got a brother who's learning and going through like a big brother. He was like a big brother on the field, off the field. Like, it was awesome, man. It's one of the reasons I committed to go there, and I don't regret it at all, man. It was some of the best years of my life, on and off the field.
I gotta ask before I end up rewinding too far, but who is on Leslie Major's Mount Rushmore of Thornwood football?
Mount Rushmore of Thornwood football. Gosh, it's so many good guys, man. Akeem. Remember Akeem?
Waterford. Okay.
Linnell Turner. Ken West. Yo, brother. This guy. Darrell. I know Coop didn't finish with us, but he could have been good. Like, it's all my guys. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's a lot of guys. Ken West, Daryl Reddick. Like, it's
hard to narrow down to four.
It's so hard. Remember Joe? Patego?
Oh, Joe Pasiga.
Pasiga. Yeah. Joe Pasiga.
Oh, yeah. No gloves.
Coldest receiver I've seen. Cold. Yep. Kwame. Remember Kwame?
Mm-mm.
He played receiver. Okay. Remember Quentin Ball?
Quentin? Oh, yeah. Yep. Quentin. Yep. He used to come work out at the health club when I used to work.
Man. Yep. Freshman. Like, it's a lot of guys, man. Yep. I think, like I said, I really, truly believe that 80% of the guys that I played with could have went to the next level easily and started. Easily. Now, I'm not going to name any names, but I did play with some bums, and I'm thinking, how did you're stealing. You stole from the program. Who let you in?
That's love, man. That's love.
To piggyback off that, also, man, another fun question that I wanted to ask you. I mean, you went against, I got a list here. I'm going to pull it up because I don't want to miss anybody out because I know there's more you want to add to it. But here's some of the receivers you ended up going against in college. You got Eric Decker, Braylon Edwards, Mario Manningham, Santonio Holmes, Ted Ginn, Jason Avant, Dez Bryant. So I say that to say, who's the toughest matchup you've ever had to go against?
That's tough, bro, because it's been some guys. I don't know if you remember Carlos Rogers.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Michigan State.
Michigan State, mm-hmm.
First, he was a grown man when I was a child.
Ended up with the Lions, didn't he?
Yeah. He's an unfortunate, didn't pan out in the NFL, but his college career was insane.
Yeah, and he was an insane player. And so that was my welcome to college football type of, those type of guys. It's like, these are, like I told you, Michael Robinson.
Yeah.
First guy to catch a pass on me in over a year and a half. And I couldn't stop him. I couldn't stop him. Those guys were great athletes, great players. I was happy to be on the field to compete with those type of guys and really try to see exactly where I measured up with the best of them because they were for sure the best of them.
Yeah.
I know you said that you use, when I asked you earlier, you said you don't look back at it as, disappointing that the guys that you play with didn't get a chance. You use it as fuel with your teaching going forward.
For sure.
What aspects of your personal journey, at Indiana and everything else. What part of that do you use with your teaching and your coaching?
So I'm glad you asked that, because this is actually a big part of not just my coaching, but also my life and how I move forward. I've been blessed, like insanely blessed. All these stories and all the football I played, I've never broken a bone before, So I can't pay back God for blessing me the way my life was set up. So I can only pay it forward, So now I would like to be seen as a tool to be used for the betterment of people, not even just boys in sports. I've coached girls. I mentor. I work with disabled. I try to pay it forward because I was so blessed and gifted, that I just have to share. Cup runneth over.
So before I gotta ask you this before we head up out of here, man. Is so with the draft just passing up, man, what was the whole draft process like for you? From your pro day to draft day, and we'll touch on it in a minute, but from actual training camp in the NFL, tell me how that process was.
Well, it was a nerve-wracking process. It started when I got the invite to the Texas versus Nation All-Star game.
Okay.
We played that down in El Paso, Texas. I played for the late, great Buddy Ryan was our celebrity head coach. Funny story, first day of camp, we get there, and for some reason he decided to single me out and tell me that I'm not big enough to play high school football. Why am I on his team? He said that out loud in front of everybody, scouts, coaches, other players. Everybody got the chuckle out of it. Okay, I get
the fire, right?
I get you. So this is before we still had to bust the wedge back then. We 5 guys to get their arms, and they had me coming down on kickoff. And so I wanted to show him why they had me on this team. I ran down, busted the wedge, knocked the guy's helmet off, and I ended up starting for Buddy Ryan in the All-Star game.
That'll do it.
That's why I'm here.
Point proof.
Yeah. The balled out, got a lot of interest. I was getting calls all week from all kind of teams, just asking about me, about my family, upbringing. They want to make sure they had the correct numbers for the draft day and everything. I was working out with Will Franklin, celebrity trainer. Jeremy Allison was working out with him at the same time as well. Jason Avant also worked out with him. He's a staple guy, and we all really got better. Cherie, she worked out with him. So I was working out him before the draft, and I got big, got strong, got fast, and man, you don't really know where you're gonna go. I don't think they know until it's done, because I was getting calls all week. I was getting calls during the draft. The Bears actually called me as they drafted Zach Bowman right before they called his name, and they told me they're gonna take a corner. They still want me, but they're gonna take a corner here. Okay, I get it. Why call me then? Just call me. Just call me when you're ready. You know. But signed as a priority free agent after the draft. I got a lot of interest. Minnesota, Cleveland, Indianapolis. I thought I would have a good chance in a cover 2 type of scheme here at home, but the cards didn't really lay out that way. We needed a guard at the end of camp, and we drafted a young corner. We already had Ricky Manning Jr., Nathan Vasher, Peanut Tillman, Corey McBride. It was stacked, so they was able to let me go to get another position. I ended up signing with the Lions for a small stint when Matthew Stafford's draft year. That didn't really pan out. Went to Canada for a while, played some arena ball, retired from concussions. Yeah.
So CTE, that's something they talk about now. Concussions is real big, and we know as even as kids, when you got hit, they were just, you just got your bell rung.
Got your bell rung.
How many concussions you think you probably got throughout your career?
Hundreds.
Yeah,
Easily hundreds.
It's different, man.
Easily
it's
hundreds.
A lot.
It was the
any of that concern you, either now or during your career, or
during my career, not so much. It wasn't until my senior year in college is when the movie Concussion came out with Will Smith, and it was more awareness brought to the damaging effects of it. Because I can remember playing Ohio State, and they punted the ball. I was a gunner. Ran down, getting ready to hit Ted again, and Santonio Holmes came out of nowhere. And we collided, gave each other concussion. 2 plays later, we go right back in. Both of us, messed up, but we went back in. After that, they put these sensors in my helmet to register force and contact, just to make sure and monitor me and everything. But that's when it got real. I was playing for the Rush. Guy hit me. First time I lost consciousness from a concussion. I had the Bambi legs and everything. I didn't even know it. I felt like I got up, saw the film. It was bad. That was the beginning of the end. Took one more hit. It nearly killed me. I had a migraine for 20 straight days. Lost all my football weight. It was bad. At that point, I had to hang it up. My son was 3.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, I know you're grateful, like you say, for everything you had, but like I said, I feel like if more teams went based on your performance, rather than, I mean, we've been talking about combine heroes, when we have, and that's what they go for. They want people that look good on paper as far as their size.
Mm-hmm. The pajama stars.
Yeah.
The pajama stars.
Practice All-Americans.
If you would have got the legitimate shot that you deserve for performance on the field, I think it would have been different. But I mean, like I said, still to this day, you're someone that I brag on, someone I'm proud of, proud to call my friend, someone I'm proud to call my teammate. So, man, I mean, I know, just because I know your personality, man, I know you wanted something different, but still, man, you should be damn proud for what you accomplished, for sure.
I am, man. I'm grateful for the experiences. I'm a 5'10", 100-something pound guy, and I was able to go and experience the world with the Giants. I was in that realm, bro. I go to the weight room, and Brian Urlacher look down at me and say, "What's up, Les?" What? You know my name? We leave practice. I go hang out with Nathan Vash and Devin Hester. We go to their house and just hanging out. You know what I mean? I came in with Matt Forte. We were, tussled around in the locker room and just brotherhood of guys of those type of calibers. I was just appreciative to be around those guys, just like y'all, man.
As a Bears fan, I'm sure you got stories that we'd probably love to hear for days. But
we would have won a Super Bowl if Cal Orton started. I'm gonna stand on that. Look, big and bold.
We got to clip that.
Oh man, that's a viral moment right there.
This dude broke 6 records against us.
About in Purdue in college.
He broke 6 records and put up 65 points. When we went to the Bears, he was accurate. He was crisp. Rex Grossman had an arm out of this world, but he couldn't hit the bar side of a barn.
Yeah. Yeah. And then that's ultimately what hurt the Bears in the Super Bowl.
In the Super Bowl was his play.
Defense did their part.
Special teams did their part.
Yeah. Devin Hester specifically.
We had Thomas Jones.
Yep.
We had guys,
What type?
06, you were... No, that wasn't 06.
I got the 08. So it was the same guys. They were just a couple years older.
Yeah.
What type of football fan are you now when you watch? Like, are you overly critical of the guys when you watch them? Or are you like, oh, I would have did this different. I can do that. Like, when you watch games, how do you consume football now?
Man, I can tell you right now, I can't do anything they're doing right now. My body is toast, bro. Those young guys got it, man. They're amazing athletes, man, and I'm just entertained just like everybody else. I know a little bit of the insides of the game, but it's still entertaining. It's entertainment for us all, and I know what those guys are going through, and it's tough. The game's changed, the world's changed. It's a lot going on, and I commend those guys for going out there and still holding it down, doing their thing. I do wish I could have got some of the NIL money, though.
That's what I said. You wish you would have been born a little bit later so you could have got some of that? Oh, for sure. Everybody
they gave me a little NCAA money, because we was on the college games.
I just want to let you know I play with Indiana, too, with NCAA. I'm like, got to play with my boy. Put you at receiver and everything.
Yeah, that 95 speed, man.
Oh, man. But before we head out of here, man, I just want to know, Yeah, first of all, we're appreciative to have you on, man. For
Absolutely.
sure. Like I was super happy that we were able to get you on. But what, other than the football player and the athlete, what do you want the world to remember Leslie Matrix as?
The father and the leader. Like, being a dad right now is my most joyous, most time-consuming activity I have. I got a high school kid who wants to play 2 sports. Got a 7-year-old that wants to play 2 sports. You know, and I want to be there in every step of the way, and guide and nurture and all of that for those guys. And leader because I want to be a leader in my community. You know, I want to let guys know that you can do it. You can do whatever you want as long as you put your mind to it. You know, it can't happen. Don't let anybody tell you any different. And if you don't think so, then I'll tell you. and you're gonna believe me because I did it. Just straight like that.
How do your kids look at their dad as far as the former athlete? Do you pass on any of the stories, the knowledge? Do they know how good you were? You know.
Well, they trying to beat me right now. My oldest son say he gonna beat all my records. He say all my personal bests. He want to know what they are, and he's gonna beat them all. And I don't have a doubt that he can. Like, he probably can. I hope you can.
You'll love it too, wouldn't you?
I would. Please give us some of that NIL money.
For sure.
Oh man, but yeah. So, like I said, man, we're super excited and glad that you were able to come on the
I
podcast,
appreciate y'all,
man.
man.
Just another Thornwood legend to come through here. Just like I said, proud to be your teammate, proud to be your friend, and love you like a brother, man.
Love, brother. I appreciate y'all having me, man. This is great, man. This is great, bro. I've watched the episodes, you know what I mean? I always thought, man, what would I say? What would I talk about if I went on there?
There you go.
And when you hear me, I was like, now I don't know.
But yeah, it's another episode from Room A-108. So we will catch you next time.
Yes, sir.